Hey everybody, I'm here in Western Saskatchewan. I'm just about to leave Saskatchewan for Alberta, and this time around was hardly, I spent the night in Saskatoon, but hardly a pause in Saskatchewan this time around. I'll be staying, that'll change on the way back. I'll be spending a bit more time in Saskatchewan on the way back. You know, everybody, has said, oh, when you cross the plains, you're going to be bored. Oh, it's boring. I've been anything but. This has been amazing. Just to see the prairies and the plains just stretch on forever. To be surrounded by these just fields and fields of canola that just go on forever, and they're this bright yellow, and it's beautiful. And as you can see from the side case there, I may have run afoul of a little bit of canola here today, and I'm sure I'll get a couple video clips there to share with you. But the prairies have been awesome. They've been great. I'm excited to get to Alberta. I've got some people there I'm really excited to reconnect with. But this video has been a while coming, and I have to apologize for how late it is. This is a hard one to shoot. This is something I get very emotional about, and very, so I'm gonna try not to crawl up on my soapbox too far, or to preach too much here today. But what I want to talk about is quantification, and when I say quantification, I'm talking about quantification of incidents, or that are attributed to injuries, or quantification of the mechanism of injury, particularly with regards to post-traumatic stress disorder. There's attitudes out there about who can and who cannot, or who should and who should not be affected by PTSD. And I find this a lot, and this has happened time and time again, from support trades who feel like they don't measure up in terms of their experiences because they never saw direct combat, and this feeling like I don't deserve to be in the same room as a combat veteran who's struggling with PTSD. And I know not everybody feels that way, but there are a lot who do. And pardon me while I swap mosquitoes throughout this entire video. They found me. So I guess the best example I can give of quantification is 4 or 5 years ago, I reconnected with somebody, a woman that I'd known, and during a veterans event, and she opened up to me about her story and her PTSD, the things she struggled with, and what happened to her. And I'll give it in very general terms. She went on deployment, and her boss, her section commander, who was a master corporal or a sergeant, one night they were working alone, and he locked the door to the section, to their work area, and he raped her. So he very brutally sexually assaulted her, and then carried on to harass and basically torment her to the point where she had to leave the deployment. And she's obviously very affected by this, as you would be. And what she had said to me was, she had gone to OSIS meetings, and OSIS is Operational Stress Injury Social Support, so it's a peer support group. And she felt like she didn't belong in the same room as people who had been blown up, or been shot at, or seen their friends killed in combat action. She felt like, her injury and her, the incident that happened to her didn't measure up to that. And there's a lot of people who, depending on their trade, they feel that way. People within the combat arms feel that way because my buddy or somebody I know had it so much worse than me. So why do I have PTSD and maybe he doesn't? Or it's okay if they do, but I shouldn't because what I experienced wasn't that severe. The thing I said to her was basically, if we're going to compare and we're going to quantify experiences, and we're going to quantify these incidents and whether or not we should be affected. I was in the infantry, And I was in the infantry for all 3 of my deployments to Bosnia, Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Afghanistan. Now my job, and let's just focus on Afghanistan. My job as an infanteer was to go out, and if I encountered a Taliban, to kill them. I went out looking for trouble. That was my job. So I left the gate, head up, gun up, expecting bad things to happen. I knew that when I went to Afghanistan. I knew that when I signed up for the infantry, that I was signing up to experience, to see some pretty exceptional things and some difficult things. So I went on deployment with a certain amount of preparedness that I was going to see unpleasant things and have unpleasant experiences. And those experiences have affected me, despite being trained to handle those incidences and being a little more mentally prepared for it. Now, in contrast to that, you had somebody who deployed to a camp overseas in a theater, and there's still threat. There is still threat, there is still danger, but they're not leaving the compound, they're not leaving the wire. Their job is, they're in a relatively secure area, as secure as you can be in a place like Afghanistan, right? Or Bosnia or Africa. And you're within your section, you're within your normal workspace, and you are attacked violently by your section commander. Now, your section commander, there's nobody else in the world, and I mean nobody else in the world, who is more responsible for your safety and your well-being and looking after you. Since the time you were an infant, there's been nobody in the world who is so responsible for making sure that you were as safe as you possibly could be and promoting your welfare. And to have that person turn on you and attack you in that way, and then carry on to harass you and stalk you afterwards, nobody deployed expecting that. I deployed expecting to get shot at and expecting to have ordnance lobbed at me and expecting to have people try and kill me. Nobody deployed expecting, I'll probably get raped while I'm there by the person I'm supposed to be able to trust more than anyone else in the world. So if we're going to quantify, I would have to say that I should not be in the same room as that woman, because I have no reason to complain. I cannot fathom the moral injury that comes from that. And there's no moral injury with the Taliban taking a shot at me, because I was there to kill them and they were there to kill me, and it was very above board. There's no hurt feelings with regards to anything the Taliban did, because I expected nothing but the worst from those people, and they're pretty good at delivering. So I really hope that we can get away from this quantification, because it's divisive. It divides the veteran community. It's dismissive of the struggles of other people. And with division and dismissiveness, then we're into that isolation, and we're into that stigma and all those things that are roadblocks to people getting the help they need. I don't care what the experience was that got you to where you are today. If you experience the same struggles that I do with PTSD, because the struggles, the experiences could be night and day different, but the struggles are so similar. And I don't care what got you there. I don't care if you were in the infantry, the artillery, the armored, the engineer corps, and you saw the most horrible things in the world. I don't care if you were a clerk and you never left Kandahar airfield. I don't care if your injury was in Cyprus or Bosnia during some of the quiet times there. I don't care if it happened in Canada. I don't care if you never deployed. If you have PTSD, your struggles are the same as mine. And, if we're going to quantify, well, let's be honest. If we're going to quantify, there's only one person who's allowed to have PTSD, and that's whoever had the worst experience. And everybody else has just got to suck it up. And it's ridiculous to say that, right? You would think. But you don't even need to be a Canadian Armed Forces veteran to have PTSD. You could be a first responder, police, fire, EMT services, dispatchers, nurses, just the average Canadian who has been exposed to an experience that just gets caught in the loop in your mind. That's PTSD. And you know what? I don't care. I don't care why you have it. And not to say I don't care what happened to you, but there's no quantification and there's no judgment on, well, do you really deserve to have it or not? Like, give me a break. Who owns the patent on suffering? And who wants it? Who the hell wants it? If we're going to get into quantification, there are people. There are, and I say men. They could be women, but in my case, they are men. They are the toughest most capable men I have ever met in my life. These are people whom I love and respect, and who have these struggles, and they have openly said that they have those struggles, and I do not love or respect them one iota less because of it. And if we're going to quantify, then I would have to look at them and say, well, you were there and he was there, you're affected, he's not, so what does that mean? You're weak? Is that what that means? You know? And I'll dare anybody to go up to these people I'm talking about, I can't share their name obviously, and tell them they're weak, and I'll comfort your widow, I guess. I don't know. Like, and these are people who, if they called me and said, Mike, ruck up, I would not even ask where we're going or what we're doing. I would just be there, because I would follow them anywhere. And, you know, so the quantification, and I heard it, Susan Musgrave gave me an interview, and I've got to get that uploaded and edited, and it's a bit of a process. And she even said it, I've only been in 14 years. Only 14 years. Come on. That is not a drop in the bucket. 14 years, there, you know, I don't care how long you're in. You know, the things, what she did for 14 years, I cannot imagine how those things, I can't imagine what she saw or how it might have affected her, you know. But I'm only a reservist. I was only in Kandahar Airfield. I'm a clerk. I'm a mechanic. I'm a gun plumber. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You know, and for those of us in the combat arms, if you're one of the people who is putting that quantification on people, because I know it's on both sides of the coin. You have people in support positions or support trades who feel like they don't, you know, they're not entitled to have PTSD, and you have those within the combat arms who believe, well, nobody should have PTSD unless you were involved in direct combat action, and it's wrong. And we need to get over that, because I think we as veterans, you know, we're fighting enough already without fighting amongst ourselves. And I'm just putting this invitation out there to everyone. If you're hurting, if you're struggling, you know, anybody can reach out to me. I don't care what trade you were. I don't care if you never served a day in your life. You know what? I just want to end this stigma. I want to end this isolation for everybody who is dealing with this issue. And in order to do that, we've got to stop quantifying experiences and incidents and just focus on talking about how we're affected and how we struggle, so that not that we can normalize it, but we can end the shame and the stigma that keeps us from becoming whole and becoming, you know, the people that we are meant to be and we are supposed to be. You know, and again, I'm sorry, you know, I'll climb back down off the soapbox and get back under the saddle, you know, back to what I'm decent at. But you know, I just really wanted to share that, because you know, it just doesn't matter. We suffer the same, we struggle the same, and when we don't get the help we need, we unfortunately die the same. And I think we've all had enough of that. So I'm gonna get back on the bike and make my way into Alberta. I want to thank everybody who's been joining along in the journey. You know, thank you for the support. And when I say support, I mean just even saying, hey man, you know, we appreciate what you're doing, or we think you're doing a great thing. That means the world to me. So thank you for that. For those who have given to the GoFundMe page, thank you so much. You know, that's what's making this possible, and it's healing for me, and I'm hoping that it's healing for other people. I'm hoping that it's getting things going for other people as well. If you are able to visit the GoFundMe page, the link is down in the description. I do need the help. You know, for those people who've opened their homes and allowed me, you know, given me a place to stay for a night or 2 nights or whatever. Again, I thank you so much. It's great just to be able to get my head down or get some work done. You know, do a little bit of maintenance on the bike, whatever it is I need to keep going. And really, just thank you to everybody for everybody who's been a part of this journey, whether you're just following on Facebook or whether you've come out to say hello, or ran into me or saw the bike and just wanted to talk. You know, I appreciate all that so very much. And this has been a very eye-opening and a very profound experience for me and continues to be. And I'm excited to get to Alberta. I'm really excited to start making my way towards the Rockies, because I mean, that is going to be a ride. And you know, I hope some folks are able to come out and join me. But yeah, you know, don't be shy to come say hello, and I will you know, talk to you again soon. Thanks.